Good evening, brother. We're live.
Champs, here we are. First
everybody.
First show, huh?
Yep. Welcome to the High Performance Show. Once we get a few more in, champs, I reckon we'll explain to the viewers what this show entails. Hello, AY, Malice, Russell, Gamer Boy, Russell again, and Gamer Boy. Yeah, injuries, the conversation for the moment, isn't it, right now?
Yeah, definitely not looking good, is it?
It's not looking good. I might even highlight that.
Yeah. Very interesting news. I'm just reading that article about Jamie Elliott. Could not be good for us.
Yeah, some sort of vascular injury. And I don't know how that's disclosed. Is it the back? Is it the foot? Because the vascular can be anywhere, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It looks like it's his foot. So
Look, I'm just saying I hope it's not the injury I had, because that kept me out for over a year. Post-surgery as well. So I'm just saying. And it's been awfully quiet from the Collingwood's end. I mean, I'm sure they gave out estimates for timeline, but it seems like it's continuing to evolve in a negative sense. So really concerning to see what's happening with Jamie Elliott, as we don't need any more injuries. And yeah, that's the bottom line. Too many injuries, and he's our best small forward when everyone is at their peak.
Yeah, exactly. And he does such a big role for us. Like, he's a small forward, yet his marking ability overhead challenges those of a key forward sometimes. So, with him down and with our lack of key forwards, it was really evident on the weekend how much we're missing a key. And especially if he's going to stay out, then what does the future look like then?
Yeah. And Jamie Elliott plays like a key tool sometimes, the way he jumps and sits on players' shoulders and all that. So it would be a monumental loss, to say the least, if we were to be without Jamie Elliott for the season.
James, I thought you were having a beer for a second.
Not quite. Kombucha. Dad, if you search Google Jamie Elliott injury, there will be a few articles on Jamie Elliott's injuries. It's not hearsay, but it's not coming out of the club's mouth. But there are rumours leading to suggest that Jamie Elliott's injury is a little bit more serious than what was first thought.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah. So, guys, while we're in here, we'll probably get the show going at about 7:05, 7:10. But essentially what we're looking to do is rate every player's performance player by player from the weekend, the game against the Doggies. And then after Caleb has his explanation or I have my explanation, we'll give a rating, and then we'll move on to the next player. And then by the end of it, guys, stick around, because we're going to do like a viewers vote for, we don't have a name for it yet. We're still working on that. Maybe we'll put a poll up in the YouTube community post, but we'll get a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 for your guys' best player from that game. And we'll create a tally and keep track of that until the end of the season.
Yeah, it's pretty much like a coach's votes that you guys would decide.
Yeah. Hello, both. Yes, it's not too good about Jamie Elliott. Maybe go on for the rest of the year. Yeah, Craig. Hopefully not, because we don't need. I'd love to see Joe Richards and Jamie Elliott playing on the same field at the same time. That'd be exciting. So, guys, yeah, we'll get started in about 7 minutes. 7:10, we'll start the show. So if you guys want to have a chat now, it'll be hard for us to get through much of the comments during the show, because we might lose our train of thought, and we might lose track of time. So we'll be focusing mainly on the ratings throughout. So if you guys want to have a chat now, just put something in the comment section and we can go from there.
Yeah. I guess who's saying it at the moment? Buckley's kind of saying that, and that's where the reports are coming from as well. So
Really?
Not directly from the club, but obviously Bucks would be still heavily involved in there. So that's where the rumours are starting.
What did he say? Old mate Bucks.
Let me just pull it up, champs. Buckley said on SEN, the only thing I know about his injury is that he was coming off for a couple of weeks midway through a second quarter and couldn't feel his foot. he'd take off his boot and his foot was black. So it's obviously quite swelling.
Okay.
And yeah, so
Blood flow.
obviously more ideal. Yeah, exactly right. So probably pulling. So
Yeah. Yeah, Craig definitely probably nicked Acos as one of his best performance when you look at just the pure numbers of it. The 10 out of 10, Caleb and I sort of briefly touched on it when we were at the gym earlier today, but we said it's going to be hard to get the 10 out of 10, but stick around and we'll find out whether we've given Nick the full allotment. It was horrible umpiring against the Western Bulldogs.
I didn't really feel like it was too horrible. I thought they were pretty consistent, like as in if they were calling the stand rule, they were pretty quick on it, but they were quick on it for both sides. So you just got to adjust to how the umpires can call that. And then the tackles, the way they're calling it with the holding the ball, I thought they were quite similar to what we saw the night before. And it, kind of paid off for us anyway. So yeah, I thought the umpiring wasn't too bad.
Yeah. I think we got, 10 plus holding the ball calls in our favour. What did you think about the Sam Darcy? What did he get, 2 weeks on Buzzy?
Yeah, he got 2 weeks. Yeah, look, I thought it would be something like that. I didn't think it was like a more realistic approach. I think he kind of came in late and was no attempt to spoil. So yeah, I thought 2 weeks would probably be around that marking. We were even saying in the post game it could have been downgraded to 1 week, but no, it's good to see he's got 2 weeks. But that does actually bring me to a point, champ. What do you think with the rising star? So obviously Harley Reid also got 2 weeks, and he's trying to dispute that to get it to medium grade impact and only get a week. But essentially, you got your two best, draftees from this year's pick not being able to go in the Rising Star Award, and and so I saw someone gets Brownlow votes and gets suspended. Obviously, with suspensions becoming more and more evident with the way the game's going, what do you reckon? Do you reckon they should overrule and change it?
Yeah, if the suspension stands, the suspension stands, but I don't think it should take away from the fact that Harley Reid is the runaway rising star candidate right now. I mean, yeah, sure, Sam Darcy is around the mark, but either way, actually, I should have my mic here. Is that much more clear now, champs?
It was pretty much the same, champ. Pretty much the same.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I still think the best player in the rising star race, despite the suspension, they should still be rewarded with it. And I'd even go as far to suggest the same thing should happen for the Brownlow. If you win the Brownlow and the player, and if you're in the Brownlow and you get suspended, then the player beneath you wins it, I feel like it's just a token Brownlow for the person who won it at the end of the day. That's my opinion.
Yeah. I think
Is that fair call?
I think that's fair call. I think in the NRL, I think if you get suspended, they knock off like votes from you. So like, let's say you get suspended for like 2 weeks, they might knock off like Brownlow votes. But also, I think it was like Nathan Brown was also saying on Sunday, maybe they can only there's a benchmark. So if you get over 4 weeks in the suspension, then you're not eligible. But if you're get 1 week here and 2 weeks somewhere else, as long as you're under 4 weeks, then you're still eligible for an award. And I thought that was a kind of good way to look at it as well.
Yeah, interesting. Might be season over if we lose to Melbourne, unfortunately, due to our injuries. Certainly makes top 4 pretty much out of reach, I would think, given the tough fixture we had post-bye. Top 8 wouldn't be out of the picture, but yeah, just given injuries and whether we can get back from some of those soft tissues, that's probably the uphill battle that we're fighting. I think, champs, we've got Gold Coast, Essendon, Carlton, Geelong, and Melbourne, and then another team post-bye. Sydney,
so
SCG as well.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tough run home.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Let's Saturday Arvo games as well. What's that about, champs?
What did you say, champ?
So a few Saturday Arvo games as well, which is what we're not about, is it?
It's not ideal. But look, guys, we're going to get into the show again. Just a quick explanation. We're doing ratings for each individual player's performance from the weekend against the Doggies. It'll be a you go, I go. So Caleb will have his first player, then I'll have mine next. At the end of each, review of each player, Caleb and I will try and come to an agreement with the rating. And we might not shake hands and agree on them all, but we'll try to find a happy medium if that's the case as well. So let me just make this adjustment, champs. Brand. So, champs, I will begin like so. So I've got Darcy Moore to start off with, our captain of the club. Darcy had 17 disposals, 8 contested possessions, which was actually a top 10 performance in his career regarding contested possessions. He had 6 intercepts, 3 of them being intercept marks and 3 being contested marks, along with the goal assist, which was early in the first quarter, champs, where he kicked that, he passed it from the boundary into the corridor, and as you like to point out, to it's like the fat side kick essentially. So he got that assist for Lockie Schultz. So that was nice. I thought I think his stats indicate that he played well. I think within the defense, he did what he could. I think there are other players that may have let the team down or the matchups, but we can get to that later. But just on an individual performance, I don't know if I was impressed, but it was definitely one of his better games for the season, and he's had some, I guess, poor games, particularly early on. And for that reason, I think I want to give Darcy Moore a 7.5 for the game. Just because recalling the game, I don't know if I can remember too many bad moments. I remember the goal assist, I remember the intercept marks, and I just remember holding up the fortress from Darcy Moore for the most part of the game. Can we come to an agreement at a 7.5 rating, or do you see something else differently, champs?
No, I think, look, you got about 3 intercept marks for the game, which were quite huge. And like you were saying, that goal assist was elite. Being on the run as quick as he is, 6'6", and then is able to hit that fat side kick right into the center, really low in his eyes, was quite good. Could potentially argue a little bit higher considering he was our best defender for the day, I reckon. But you know what? It's the first episode, chance. We'll start off nice to each other. We'll go with a 7.5.
We'll be kind. We'll be kind. All right, 7.5 locked in. I've jotted that down. Moving on to your man, champs, Brad Maynard. Floor's yours.
The man. Yeah. So Brazzy, 19 disposals for us at 68% disposal efficiency for the game. He also, got that goal as well, which was quite good. Also 4 scoring involvements, 12 pressure acts, and he was the 4th highest player on the ground for meters gained. So 562 meters gained. I thought his effort to not only come up after that hit, which could probably put a lot of people out, just proves how much of a bully he is. A lot of one-on-ones as well. Great physicality around the ground. And this is probably, I thought Moore was probably our better rating, but I did originally have Maynard jotted down as a 7.8 for the game. So, champs, with that information, what do you reckon? Do you reckon he has to go down, or do you reckon 7.8 is a fair rating?
7.8. I mean, it's always relative to role, right? So the role in your team, and then maybe the relative to the standard of your game as well, with that being factored in as the 2 main variables I think you probably consider for the ratings. Why don't we level and go 7.5 with Brad Maynard? And guys, put your comments in to see. I want to see if you guys agree with us. If we're happy to see Brad Maynard at 7.5, and then go from there.
Yeah,
but I like his. Yeah. He's had a very consistent season. Very consistent. Pressure, spoils, 1%ers, doing what he needs to do, and he's always going to give you what you expect from him on a weekly basis.
Yeah, agreed. And we guys, just FYI, if you haven't noticed already, we're giving ratings out of 10. So drop in the comments what are your thoughts on each player, and we can agree or to disagree.
Yeah. Troy's happy with the 7.5, so that's good. We'll settle on the 7.5 and move on to the next. Let's write down Braz 7.5. Now, the reason why I couldn't give Darcy Moore a little bit higher than maybe I would have wanted at first is because I actually think this man, Jeremy Howe, had quite a good game within himself. He had 17 disposals, 9 intercept possessions, 2 contested marks, and 4 intercept marks, which was a game high against the Doggies out of both teams. So that's what really impressed me. And I think this is probably the best game he's had since the start of the season. I feel like he's been quite under the pump in certain games, and his performances maybe haven't warranted a position to start. Potentially, people would even go as far to suggest that, being too old. And then he rolled forward against the West Coast and got injured in the first 5 minutes. And then you're wondering, well, where does he stand? Is he in the forward line? Is he in the back line? And when you consider Jeremy Howe was playing on people who were 5 inches taller than him, at the very least, in Ugle-Hagan, Darcy, Rory Lobb, I feel like there were a lot of one-on-one contests between Howe and those taller players, and he did considerably well. And then just to, I guess, warrant that is the 4 intercept marks being the game high. And that's why I have to give my man Jezza an 8.2 out of 10. And when you factor he was coming back off an injury, exactly, Russell, I'm going to highlight that, back from injury to perform against a very dangerous forward line, I want to give him an 8.2.
That's interesting, champs. That is, look, can't deny that intercept markability, which was proved evident today, but a couple of times, and it's not a problem. It's not exactly his fault that he had to pay on the keys, but some of those marks were directly on him, which resulted in goals. So I know it's hard considering, his height. What is he, like 6 something?
6.
And he's obviously playing on guys a lot taller than him. But yeah, look, I reckon an 8. I reckon an 8 would.
I can agree with the 8.
Just because, even though he was out of position, or not out of position, but he had to play on a taller defender, attacker, it did result in some goals, which unfortunately does go against him.
Yeah, I say that point. I'm happy. I can live with an 8. And then now we move 7 point fine with me so Bernard says 7.5, fine with Darcy Maynard. 7 for Howe. Okay, fair enough. Troy says Howe is a gun. Tick. Russell says back from injury. So we like the mixed responses. We love that. Yeah. Champs, if I'm not mistaken, we're moving on to John Noble.
Yep, the man. So look, probably wasn't the best game from Noble on the weekend, and we'll get into the reason why. But quick stat overview, is 18 disposals, which wasn't too bad considering he did get subbed out. But something of an important note was he got 55.6 disposal efficiency, which is well below his efficiency, which we've come to know this season in particular. He's averaging around 85% this year, was actually very good. So obviously he had a big impact in the game in a negative way, because obviously his efficiency was down. And one of the most crucial parts were where his turnovers were coming from. So one of them was, stuck in my mind, was in that second quarter. Looks for a switch kick, which I'm all about a switch kick and opening up the ground. But then he misses Darcy Moore in the middle. Direct turnover. Someone from Western Bulldogs scoops the ball up, kicks the goal, right? Like, those are really crucial moments in the game where momentum can swing the other way. And, could it have been subbed off for someone else? I guess he could have. In Harvey Harris, and he could have maybe potentially then put Noble onto the wing, but that didn't happen. So for that reason of poor disposal efficiency, and just come from the standing that he's been playing so well in the last few weeks, I'm going to give him a 4 out of 10. I was thinking a little bit lower, but he did get subbed off, so we didn't get to see his full work for the whole game. But I don't think the trend was going the other way that game.
Yeah. You know what, brother? I'm 100% on with you on that one. And I love that you mentioned his disposal efficiency relative to how he's been performing this year. And 80% for a halfback flanker is probably where you want it, as like a top tier halfback flanker. And then that sort of translated into our poor defensive half transition. We only scored 19 points from defensive half transition. AFL average is at 33. Last year, Collingwood were number 1 for defensive half transition. We're actually bottom 2 this year, brother. And
oh, really?
I'm not saying it's not Noble's fault, but these are the games that sort of make those. Under the roof at Marvel Stadium, you probably want more. I think last season we had 50 points from defensive half transition last year. right?
Yeah, exactly right. And the role that he plays, for example, and we all know his ability to transition the ball from defense to offense, and obviously running at a rate. That's what he's coming. That's kind of his one wood for us in defense. So when it's not firing, it's quite evident. Such a different role for someone like a Maynard or Quaynor, where they're there for the defensive ability to win one-on-ones, whereas Noble's in there to obviously defense first, but most likely transition our defensive game into offense.
Yeah. So we got Rick here, Noble, a 1 out of 10 for his disposal, but had a lot of good drive and run. Noble had some shockers, going hard, but 4 for me too. Yeah, Bernard, I think we're going to be pretty bullish with our ratings. We don't want to just happily give friendly ratings. We want to be quite, I guess, honest. Russell, 5 is probably past score. Okay, so I'm happy with the 4 champ. So we'll agree on that one. Moving on to Mr. Charlie Dean. What have I got from Mr. Charlie Dean? 14 disposals, 2 intercept marks, and I highlighted that he played a difficult role. Similar to Jeremy Howe, but as far as the role that was assigned to him, and that role was Sam Darcy, who is like 6'6" or maybe even 6'7", and lost pretty much every one-on-one engagement with him throughout the course of the game, unfortunately. And when you're 6'4", 6 foot versus 6'7", Charlie Dean hasn't really proved his aerial capacity at AFL level just yet, and he's by no means a Jeremy Howe, right? So I thought it was an interesting matchup selection from Craig McRae, and the fact that he didn't make an adjustment throughout the game is another conversation. But given this is the role that was assigned for him on the night, 14 disposals, 2 intercept marks, and they weren't like great intercept marks. They almost just fell to him fortuitously. I'm gonna give Charlie Dean a 4.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I reckon he got cooked, champ. He got cooked, and like you can talk about the height difference, but you're also there for a role, and you're probably alluding to the fact that Frampton maybe should have swung back and to play on Sam Darcy, but obviously that didn't happen, and he did get cooked. And then I felt like a lot of his possessions were purely because he was out of position in a pack, and then someone from Collingwood stripped the ball up and then fed him a possession, and then he was able to move the ball there. So I think he was out of position quite a lot. I'd argue if we're giving Noble a 4 out of 10, he's got to be right there with him.
Okay. Yeah, so I said 4.5, did I?
Yeah, you said 4.5.
Brother, Rick Darcy is 6'9", bro. 6'9". Like, fuck. I feel like Craig McRae has stitched up Charlie Dean. I feel like he's really stitched up Charlie Dean with this matchup. I feel sorry for him. But I can understand the 4 just because you can only judge the performance and the role that was assigned to him, and not necessarily.
And you got to think about the impact of the other player who he's on. And Sam Darcy, he did cook us a bit. So
yeah, I think he had like 5 contested marks, brother.
What's that? Sorry,
I think Sam Darcy had like 5 contested marks as well for the game.
Yeah.
So yeah, all right. 4. Bernard says 4 as well. He's happy with that. Troy says Darcy cooked him. A good learning experience. Yes, I thought maybe the games earlier in the season would have been a good learning curve for Charlie Dean as well. But this one is probably the most prevalent experience for Charlie Dean thus far in his career. So we'll move on. So Charlie Dean, we've agreed to a 4. And now the man of the weekend, brother.
Well, does he need much introduction here? Obviously had an absolute cracker of a game. 32 disposals, 27 contested, most ever. 16 clearances, 2 goals. Like, might be jumping ahead, but Nick Dacos and Josh Dacos' ability to cut across the ground and then score a goal from outside 50 is it's unreal. Just their kicking form as well. Absolutely elite. We talked about it at the gym, and I think not many people would disagree at over 10 out of 10, but we are trying to make it harsh. He finds those 0.2 Obviously, I should also say he obviously got 16 clearances for the game, which is the most in the game. But for him to get a 10 out of 10 would have to be a Collingwood win. And we lost. So that's why we're giving him a 9.8. Well, that's what I'm giving him. I'm giving him a 9.8.
Yeah.
Don't think many people would disagree.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, it is a team sport. And Champs, just quickly, I might even just pop it up now. What did Nick Dacos do in that last quarter? And compare that against a Bontempelli in that last quarter. Nick Dacos, 7 disposals, 1 behind, 5 contested possessions. What else did he do for us?
What did he do, Champ?
3
Mind you, he was
clearances.
absolutely cooking in that first quarter as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely cooking.
Yeah. So do we do the 9.8, Champs? Do we do the 9.8?
I think Collingwood win, you give him the 10 out of 10. But considering we lost, it's a team game. You know, there's always room for improvement. So point 2 is where that loss is gone in the loss. So 9.8 is the rating, I reckon, and we can be pretty confident with that.
Yeah, there's a few people pushing for that 10 by the looks of it. Kamenchi says Nick Fade in the last. So I think we'll settle for the 9.8. And yeah, if Collingwood get that win, it's a different conversation. But yeah, special mention to Nick for that record-breaking clearances and contested possessions as a club record. And then he was also the fastest player to reach 30 disposals for any player in the AFL's history. So first player to get 30 disposals against every club in the AFL. So
yes,
fuck it might sound Sipno 10, but we're really big on the win would have given him the 10 out of 10.
Exactly right.
Yeah. Now Caleb isn't happy with this photo here of his man, Isaac Quaynor, but I thought it'd be funny. I think he looks quite odd in this one, and
he's got a do-rag on, brother. What's going on there?
He's got the headband, brother.
Is that the headband or do-rag? Either way, you've done him dirty, champ, but that's all right.
Isaac Quaynor, 10 disposals, running at 50% disposal efficiency and the 2 intercept marks, which is back to where he wanted to be, where he was last year, averaging 2 intercept marks per game. 10 disposals, 50% efficiency. Looked okay. The role, as we've pointed out too many times before, the role of Isaac Quaynor is to defend first, and that doesn't necessarily read up on the stat sheet all the time. Oh, I'm not too sure where to go with this one, brother. I've just got a 6, just for an average game. Just an average game. Yeah. I've got a 6 Isaac Quaynor. Can you
Champ, as much as I love him, like I didn't really notice him too much out there. In my recollection of the game, I couldn't really remember too much, even watching back the mini today, just so I could refresh myself. But I would say, 6 would be like a C plus, and I reckon a C, like maybe a 5, I reckon would be the mark. Maybe a 5.5 for those intercept marks, because we have talked about his numbers are down in intercepts. I think he's almost averaging 1 less a game, as you stated. So I think that's a step in the right direction for him. So I'd be happy with a 5.5.
Yeah, cool. We got Russell says 4. Michael thinks IQ was solid. And we've got Troy, Q is a gun, but something is off with his usual polish. ANY Malice, 4.5, not in form. 50% disposal efficiency, not good enough. 6 for me. And I think with that, we'll agree on a 5.5 with Mr. Isaac Quaynor. Got to get games into these kids. All right. So, and I think, Champs, you got Mr. Steel Sidebottom now?
Yep, Sidey. Look, good game from him. 21 disposals, 7 marks, 15 pressure acts, 4 tackles. Also came with 7 contested possessions. And he also, for someone who's coming to the back line, is also looking to drive and carry through the offense, our defense to offense transition. And he was the third highest man in the game with 556 meters gained. And I thought it was a very solid performance from him today, or on Friday, I should say. And we also actually saw the first mistake he's done in terms of leaving his man at the wrong time. It was doomed to happen. He was pretty much playing the perfect defensive game all year. Like went into leave, went to make an impact, but did get caught out once on the weekend. And if that's my biggest gripe with him, I think he had a good game. So for that reason, I'm giving him a 7.5 out of 10.
Yikes. 7.5. Let me just quickly check something, Chance, before I come hot at you. 21 disposals, 66% disposal efficiency, 6 clangers, 7.5.
I thought his ability to come through was pretty decent, Champs.
66% disposal efficiency. I think a 7.5 is too much. I think a 6, just because of the 6 clangers. I feel like 1 or 2 of them resulted in a direct goal. 8 turnovers, 6 clangers. What are we saying, chat? Yeah, Michael Sidey missed a couple of targets.
I think there is a little bit of an adjustment period as well. Maybe making a little bit of excuses for him. But I look, I did originally have 7 written down, but I got G'd up when I was telling the story. So maybe. But no, look, I didn't think it was too bad, guys. I didn't think it was too bad.
A&Y Malice. Wow. 7? ? 7 for the big dog. Troy, yes. His last year got to get games adjustment. Champ?
What do you reckon?
6.2.
Right, you got 6.2.
I can't do more than
6.5. You gotta think about it as well.
Rick says 5. Rick says 5.
Oh, we'll meet in the middle. We'll go 6.5 then.
6.2 and a half.
Oh, no, go 6.2. Tough critics.
Yeah. No, we love it, guys. Well, thank you for the input. This is very important. We love that. 6.2 and a half. I love him, man. I do love Sidey. I just didn't rate his game a whole lot on the weekend. And like you said, it's an adjustment to the role he's playing. Usually he's silky with the ball. For some reason, that wasn't, I guess, super present on the weekend. But was there, any score involvements for the man either? Sidey, 0 score involvement as well off the halfback flank versus even John Noble, 3 score involvement. So, all right, 6.2 and a half for Mr. Steele Sidebottom, and now we're moving on to, and this will be a quick one, champs. Will Parker was the sub. Obviously, came on extremely late into the game and was put in the back line, whereas we would have thought maybe if he does come on, he plays as a forward or as a winger. He gets put in the back line, and we look even shorter than what we did before the change. And he ends up matching up with someone like Bontempelli in that last play, which pretty much iced the game from memory. You could make the case for, could have McRae swapped Markov for Will Parker if Parker was to come into the game. And then there's that conversation, should Noble had even been subbed? Maybe he could have been pushed onto the wing to get more involvement into the game and have more of an impact. Who knows? But we're not going to give Parker a rating because, brother, he had 0 disposals, 2 tackles, and he was on the ground for 5-10 minutes. I don't know if it'd be fair to rate his game.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, Champs. Yeah, it seems a little bit unfair because he didn't really impact the game, did he?
Yeah.
Maybe a -1.
Yeah. All right. Juicy one. The man.
Darcy Cameron. Well, I think his ability this year to take marks and just be our key ruckman has been absolutely elite, especially with Coxie out. He had 16 disposals, won the most hit-outs for the day, 51, 3 intercept marks as well, which is quite elite for a ruckman as well. And his just ability to grab the ball out of his, out of the ruck and just tap it to Nick Dacos, seemed to find him all day as well. And for that reason, champs, I'm giving him an 8.5 out of 10.
8.5. Yeah, so what did we say? So what was his intercept marks again, brother?
3 for the game.
Yeah. and I keep saying he's the best he's the best marking ruckman in the league. So an 8.5, I'm happy with that. Michael says DC was excellent. Bernard, Cameron 8, A&Y Malice 8. Cameron has been a solid 9 all season. Can definitely agree with that. TRBCL, Cameron played one of his best games in his career. No Cox, I can't move him forward to kick a couple of goals. Yeah, that's probably, I guess, the caveat with not having another tall to rotate in, which if Nathan Kruger was in the team, brother, maybe that's a different conversation. But anyways, Troy says 6, which is a bit of an outlier and a bit of an anomaly there, Troy. And Kamenchi says agrees with Rick saying that Cameron has been a solid 9 all season. And Mr. Ben Parsons from NZ, welcome, brother, says I'd go an 8 as well. So despite the number of 8s there, I'm going to agree with you on the 8.5, brother.
Yeah, there was a 9 in there as well, champs.
There was a 9. There was.
Yeah. But we'll go 8.5. 8.5.
I'm happy with that. I'm very happy with that. Okay. Rick Tinker, 100.
We need bloody someone to help me up there, boys, don't we? We do. Frampton. Sorry, Chaz, we might be jumping ahead, but he wasn't it. The man.
Okay, yes. Mr. Finals himself, Jack Crisp. And I didn't know how well he played until I looked back at his game in retrospect. And looking at his game, he had 24 disposals, 10 tackles, and he kicked 1 goal, 2 behinds. It was a good supporting cast for Nick Dacos. Probably not to the level that Treloar was the supporting cast to Marcus Bontempelli, but I still thought Crisp was pretty impactful. I think he was the coach's MVP, brother, from memory.
He was.
The coach's MVP. Before I give my final rating for Jack Crisp, given his performance, I just want to have a little look-see. How did he go in that last quarter? 2 disposals, brother. 2 disposals, 5 tackles.
Yeah.
I initially had him at an 8, but we mentioned how important the win is and the impact in important periods throughout the game. Can you give me a 7.5 for Jack Crisp?
Oh, champ. Look, I see. Yeah, obviously 2. Was it 2 disposals in the last?
Yeah,
that's a bit rough, isn't it? Especially when they really got on top of us. But man, that second quarter, his tackle pressure was just bloody unreal, right? Like his impact on the footy was quite good. I can live with a 7.5 because if we're not giving Dacos a 9.8. A 10 for Collingwood losing, and if you're having an impact like that and you're meant to be in the centre bounce all the time, then and around the ground, I can live with a 7.5.
Yeah, and if you want to look at Crisp versus Treloar and then Nick Dacos versus Bontempelli, Treloar had 13 disposals in that last quarter, 8 contested possessions. So Crisp did have a lot of friends in the last quarter that went missing. But he was the supporting cast for Crisp on the night, for Dacos on the night. Paul says 7.5. Michael says Crisp flogged his guts out. Yep, he got 10 tackles with pressure. 7 from A&Y Malice. Paul thinks Crisp is very sexy. I think we had this conversation in the pre-game show, so we'll leave that at that. Bernard, Crisp, very good, 8. Good player. Crisp should have gone to Bont in the last quarter. Russell, a lot of mates in the last quarter. Yes, we're mindful of that. We lacked experience in the midfield. 7.5 for Cripper. If he kicked 2 goals, it would have been 8 for me. Yeah, he had a couple more scoring shots that maybe he could have converted, which he didn't. 7 for Rick. Mello, we do fan cams post-game. So on Monday, after the King's birthday clash, we'll do fan cams then. Agree. Whole side went AWOL. If they won and Crisp kicked straight, we win a perfect game. Treloar was 3rd best. So 7.5, brother. Is that what we're settling on? Yeah?
Yeah, that's the verdict. Yep.
All right, beautiful. Beautiful. We haven't punched each other through the computer screen yet, so that's a good sign. All right. Go on. You get both the Dacos brothers tonight, brother. I'm looking after you.
That's a good fight of Josh as well. So Josh Dacos, 23 disposals, 10 of those were contested. He had those 2 goals, and the first goal of the game, I believe, he just sat out of the clearance, let his defender, opposition player, get sucked into the ball, and was able to, receive the handball out wide and slice across from the 50, and just didn't overkick it. Kind of looked like he was just passing the ball straight to the goal umpire. It really set the tone early in that first quarter for us. He also had his most centre bounce attendances for the season at 35%. His previous high for the season was at 21%. With that coming into the centre bounce attendances, we also saw, like Nick Dacos, his efficiency go down as well. So his efficiency for the game was 47.8%, which was down. But I did think he did a good job. 2 goals, quite important for us as well. I'm going to give him a 7.5, champs. Might be a little bit harsh, but then you got to also think about his disposal efficiency there as well.
Yeah,
what do you
47%.
think?
You pretty much took the words out of my mouth. I think adapting to the midfield, 32% centre bounce attendances, naturally your percentage of disposal efficiency is going to go down. In saying that, I thought he had a good game. Rick says 6.5, ANY Malice 7.5. What did you say, brothers? Did you say 7.5?
Yeah, champ.
Yeah, and we're going to reference to the last quarter a whole lot in this show. Josh Dacos had 6 disposals and 1 tackle, 1 contested possession. Clearances here. I think a 7.5 is fair. Ben says 7. Mello says 7. 7. I was at the game and the stats don't tell you everything. Yeah, I'm happy with 7.5. I feel like his impact passed the eye test for me, and 7.5 is fine for me.
Yeah, exactly right. I actually originally had him a little bit higher, to Michael's point regarding the eye test. Then I went back, looked at the stats, and rewatched the game, and just downgrading him a little bit. But yeah, like I said, like stats isn't everything, and for him to be able to get some centre attendances a little bit more, I'm all about it.
Yeah. Okay, next one is Sully, the man. Lockie Sullivan.
Lucky's got a square head.
He does, doesn't he? 15 disposals, 5 of them kicks, 8 contested possessions, and 26% centre bounce attendances. But in the bottom 6 of our squad right now, probably needed to step up a little bit more, maybe have more impact. It's a tough one, Mr. Lockie Sullivan. I wasn't too sure where to go with this one, just because he's still making his way into the league. Probably don't want to. You can't ask too much of him. 8 contested possessions, so half of his collected disposal were contested. I'm going to give him just a 6. Just a 6. Nothing too harsh. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, wasn't too bad. 2 goal assists as well. 4 scoring involvements for the game. So he wasn't too bad. I just remember thinking like the bottom 6 and he was probably within our bottom 6 experience-wise and just for the game. I think that kind of let us down. So you had him as a 6. There could probably be an argument for him to be a little bit lower, but the thing is, I don't recall him doing a lot throughout the game. So with that, champs, I'm happy with a 6 then, just because I don't really remember him doing too much around the ground.
Yeah, I missed the 2 goal assists as well, so I think that has to solidify the 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
Everyone's about the mark. One or half a point off. 5.5. 6 for Matty and Missy Travels. Bernard 6. Ben 6.5. First game down, but he'd be better for the game time. Exactly. So yeah, we'll settle on a 6 for Mr. Lockie Sullivan for the game against the Doggies. And moving on to Harvey Harrison, brother.
Yeah, look, I actually thought, I thought we had a little bit of a disagreement with his game in the post game. I didn't think he was actually too good, and he was probably the one to be subbed off, which would have allowed, if he comes off, Will Parker then goes into the back line and Noble swings into the wing position, is what I would have done if I was Fly. He had 10 disposals, 60% efficiency rate as well. And I don't know, James, like, I know the eye test, I just doesn't think he passed the eye test for the game. I think he probably maybe gets back into the VFL this week. But Champs, like, yeah, I think he definitely had better games. Only 3 contested possessions. So I've given him a 4.8.
Okay. Look, yeah, his game wasn't great. Yeah, 3 kicks, 7 handballs, 2 goal assists. Probably went missing for the most part of the game. But are you suggesting that you'd like to see him in the VFL next week?
No, we got too many injuries. We got too many injuries, but I think it was about a 4.8 is what I said. Yeah, 4.8. So
okay. What about a 5? 2 goal assists.
We'll push him for the goal assists that are left out, and then we'll push him to a 5.
Yeah. Okay, let's see what the comments are saying.
There's a few 5s, a few 4s in there.
Yeah, 5 from Team Mello. Harrison was quiet, did a couple of nice things. No, I think Josh Johnson should have been subbed off. We'll get to Johnson a little bit later and talk about that there. 2 did not see him. Did nothing, ? 2 did not see him. Caleb goes bang, says Ben. So it's disappointing, but we should persevere. 5, yep. Yeah, Michael, Elliott, the vascular injury, we're not too sure. We'll wait to hear from the club regarding that. A&Y Malice, 4 out of 10. Matty says 5. Bytel, they're all playing, have no one else. They're all playing, we have no one else. Okay. All right, well, if the squad is healthy, right, and if you were to put Harrison out, as you had indicated, who would be on the wings and who would be in the wing rotation if Harrison's not there?
James. Well, who we got out? Let me look at the outs quickly, James. But look, obviously you have Josh Dacos on there, and then Champ, I actually don't mind. I know we're talking about how good Noble has been for us in the back line, but I actually don't mind him on the wing either. So I wouldn't mind seeing him attend more onto the wing. What do you reckon there, Champs?
You said Noble?
Yeah.
On the wing?
I actually don't mind him on the wing.
I feel like our wing stocks are pretty sorted at the moment. And John Noble, when he's playing at his best, he's so important for our ball movement out of the back line, especially with Nick Dacos in the middle. I just think it's a bit tough to move him away from that position, given how much we've struggled in the past with that defensive half transition this year.
Yeah, exactly. And then obviously, Lipinski as well has actually been a lead for us as well. So he would probably be there as well as a starting, and then Noble would roll through as the sub potentially. And then you can get the likes of like Will Parker and Charlie Dean as well to keep their spot within the squad as well in the defender role.
Okay. So we settle for the 5, is that right?
Yeah.
5, yeah. Okay. Patrick Lipinski. 18 disposals at 44% disposal efficiency, whereas he sits at typically 72% for the season. He did see more game time in the midfield, 23% of the centre bounces, which, again, that will always hinder your efficiency overall. 1 goal, 6 tackles, 9 contested possessions. Where was Lipinski in that last quarter? Let's find out, just to refresh my memory. Basic disposals. Patrick, where are you, Patrick? 5 disposals. I had him at a 5.9. I'm seeing a couple 6s. I'm seeing a 7. Rick,
I actually thought he was better than a 5.5, champ.
5.9.
5.9. Okay, yeah. I would say about like a 6.2. I actually, thought I actually didn't really like him too much in terms of being in the actual centre bounce. Thought like maybe just holds out a little bit more, like just leave him on the wing a little bit more. But I thought he wasn't too bad, champs.
Yeah.
Would you go at 6.2?
Let's see, 6.5. 6.5. Yeah, there's a few there, a few 6.5s there, there's a few 6s, a couple of 7s here and there. Let's go 6.2 for Mr. Patrick Lipinski, who's having a great year. And maybe he was just rewarded on Friday with midfield time because of the year he was having. Did he get many clearances? Let's just double check that.
What you call it? He got 3 clearances, champ.
3. I'd like to know how many of them were centre clearances and how many were stoppages, but let's settle for the 6.2 for Mr. Patrick Lipinski. And I think you've got this man here.
Bo, well, we'll see how this goes, champ. 8 disposals for the man, 37.5% efficiency. As we talked about, your efficiency rates will go down while you're playing in the midfield. He centre bounce clearances. We all wanted for it. We're all asking for it.
You sound nervous, brother.
He's got his time, champ. He got his time in there, 55%. That was the third most for Collingwood mids. So you had Nick Dacos as number 1, Jack Crisp was number 2. Then you had Bo. All right. What he does well and what we love about him is his defensive game, right? So can't fault him for that, right? 37 pressure acts, 14 tackles. 14 tackles were the most for the game. 37 possession acts was top 3, right? So he's absolute elite. What we need someone to lift, right, is I know he's in there to be a defensive player as a defensive mid, but he also needs to win the fucking thing, right? He needs to win the ball. You're a midfielder, 55% of the centre bounce attendances. You do need to lift a little bit. For that reason, champ, I'm going to get murdered here, but there's 2 sides of a footy game. One's defensively, one's an offensive. And when you're completely not firing on offense, that's why you get a 5.5. So what do you reckon, champs? A little bit harsh, but I think that offense side of the game really needs to lift if he wants to be in the center of bounces. I know we talk about the pressure acts and the tackles, which are elite, but there's a whole other side of the game which he needs to lift.
Second highest rated pressure game by any player this season, Mr. Bo McCreary. However, I understand where you're coming from, brother, because he played in the midfield most of the game, right? 8 disposals.
It's not ideal, is it?
Yeah. You get your chance in the middle and they say, go find the footy, Bo, and get us some helpful centre clearances. I don't know if he lived up to it. Probably needs more time adjusting. You're saying 5.5?
Yeah.
What about a 6? What about? I think 6 is not too far off par. There's a bit of a skew in the comments.
Yeah, I think we talk so highly of him, and I do like him as a player. I just feel like if you're going to come in, you do need to get the footy a little bit more. And I know, he's probably playing a sweeper role, but he still needs to come in and win the thing when it's there to be won. So, we'll go with 5.9. I still think he needs to stay in the 5s.
7.
What do you reckon?
Bo pressure acts. Bo maybe an 8, 7.5. Bo 7. Bo looks exciting, but didn't do enough positive things. 5. Guys, what do you want from a CDM or a number 6? Here, Michael's referring to the soccer terms of a centre defensive midfielder, which is probably what Bo played more so. I feel like Bo is thrusted into the midfield to actually have more of an impact forward of centre. So I don't know if he necessarily... Yes, he's a pressure player, but I still think Fly hopes that Bo can go in and kick some goals off the back of his pressure in the midfield. And I don't think he had a shot on goal. What do you have? He had 1 shot, 1 behind, and I think he should have kicked that goal from memory. From memory, don't quote me. T Mello says 7. Russell says 6. Comenci Basics agrees with Caleb. Bo coming back off concussion, doesn't have his legs back. 100. Right, give me a 6. I know you're saying 5.9. Give me a 6.
We'll settle for a 6 so I don't get murdered or king hit when I'm out on Chapel Street over the weekend.
6. 6 out of 10 for Mr. Bo McCreary.
Yeah, because you can't deny his defensive game was very good. I just, wanted to expect a little bit more out of him, in 8 disposals, running at 37% efficiency as well, right? So we'll leave it at that.
Bobby Hill. 14 disposals, 1 goal, 1 goal assist. Tried to make things happen when he had the ball. And that's what I love about Bobby. He's so positive with the ball. He's looking to... Sometimes he might try to do something a little bit too overzealous, I guess, with the ball. But I do love his intent with it. Well, I know 14 disposals is a good amount of accumulation for someone like Bobby Hill. I got 1 goal, 2. We spoke about how important it was this game for Bobby Hill and Lockie Schultz to step up. I think Bobby Hill had an unders performance relative to what we needed from him on the night, given what players we had available on the ground. And for that reason, I'm going to give Bobby a 5.8.
Interesting. I actually thought he wasn't too bad, champs. And because I don't know, just like we were quite down on tall stock, right? So he had to play a bigger role than he normally would, and obviously can take a specky, but try contests as well a little bit more. I don't know. I know I was just harping on about Bo, but I just reckon he was a little bit better than that, champs. I would go like a 6.5. His ability to lead up at the footy and still, it just looks so dangerous, right? If you're just going off the eye test, he brings so much pressure, a lot of chase acts. I reckon I'd go about a 6.5, champs. And I'm pretty firm on that as well. Pretty firm on a 6.5. No negotiation there, but
let's see what people are saying here. Too much of a show pony. Bobby, I'd go with 7. Another goal would push it to 8, says Ben. If we could get 2 goals a game from him, hasn't been the same since injury. Bobby, a 6.5 maybe. Bobby had a not quite game. Yeah, he had a not quite game, exactly. 14 disposals. Should mean more goals. Needs to kick 6. 6, says Russell. 6.2, champs. Come on. Come down. Come down to me. 6.2.
We'll settle with a 6.2 then, champs.
Because put it this way, brother. Put it this way. Disposals, wanting to impact the game, etc., etc. But then on the other hand, we're roasting or we're bullish that Lockie Schultz needs to have a big game. And how does a small forward impact the game? Like this, you kick goals. And if I say to you, hey, brother, Bobby Hill kicks 1 goal tonight leading into the Bulldogs game in a pre-game show, and I say, is 1 goal a pass to you? What are you saying?
Yeah. I'm saying 2 is the benchmark, right?
Yeah. So it's an unders performance for me, and that's why I want to settle on a 6.2. Can we do one of these ones, brother?
Yeah. We'll shake on it, champs. 6.2.
Thanks, mate.
6.2. Yeah. Now I do feel harsh about Bo for giving him, because I feel like his pressure defensively, but we'll live and die by it now, boys, because we want him to lift offensively, right? And we set a high standard for him, one of my favorite players, so we'll leave it at that.
All right, 6.2 for Mr. Bobby Hill, Mr. Norm Smith. Never forget. Could have a day out. I hope he does. Me too.
Me too as well. The man, huh? All right, boys. So Bartel, what did he get, champs? 9 disposals, 5 marks, 12 pressure acts. I really struggled to recall his game, champ. I'm actually going to be honest with you. I was looking through the stats, rewatching the game. Thought he could have.
Because he didn't touch it, brother.
Yeah, And I really think, I just don't think he had much of an impact, James.
A couple
And
easy turnovers as well, bro.
yes, so I don't know. I think when we get a full shot, he's probably out. I've had him down as just because he was a forgetful performance. I had him as a 4. 3.5 champs. I'm not going to die on a hill for this bloke. So I'm happy to give him a 3.5 champs, and we'll just keep it moving.
Yeah, 55% off the wing. Some really simple footy errors by foot in the game in the limited amount of times he had the ball in his hands. I reckon a 3. You could argue a 2, you could argue a 1, really. But yeah, he just wasn't up to it for this game. I'm not saying he's not going to be around for the long term, but that game was not what you wanted for someone who plays on a wing. I'm not sure how much wing he's played in the past, but he needs to be more efficient with the ball as an outside player on the wing. Vital, sorry, Michael, but he's a spud. First came back from concussion. I just go 5 if I'm honest, Ben. I can't agree with you on that. I'm sorry. Michael, 2. Vital was not up to it. Easy to see why Saints didn't want him. A battler, not confident enough or accepted by teammates. 3. Vital's not AFL standard. Should be getting games ahead of some of our younger guys. Agree, Bernard. He lacks belief. Vital, 3 champs. That is about right on. Yeah.
Wow.
And just this one here, Rick. Maybe Harry Dimatier comes in for Jack Vital. Maybe. We'll see.
Give him a shot. Who we got next, champ?
I got this right. Have you got this, man, by any chance?
No, I don't. I think you got that, man, don't you?
I think I've franked him. But I'll take him.
I'll take him. Well, you go, champs. You go.
I'll take him. Billy Frampton. Now he was a big conversation leading into the game, during the game, and after the game. Not for the wrong reasons, but for the reasons that Craig McRae elected to swing him forward and not select Kruger and keep Charlie Dean in the back line on Sam Darcy, who was 6'9", who is 6'9", and we didn't make the change.
No.
So that's just from a coaching selection view. There were some suspect calls there, but on Billy Frampton's game, 7 disposals, no goals, limited impact. I'd say McRae's stitched him up because he was playing in the wrong position.
Was lost in the forward line.
Yeah. And there are a number of times, Chance, where we said in the game, where's our tall player when we're going long?
Yeah.
So
it was. Yeah, he got lost. You giving him a 4, champ?
I think I'm gonna have to give him a 4.
Look, like it's hard to be harsh on him because he got donnied. He got franked. He just got put up in a bad situation, and where he shouldn't have played. You know, Kruger should have come in, kicked 3 goals in the VFL. Was the logical decision. We were saying all week I was saying he's paying $1 to come in, Kruger. Then we get this decision. Even when it was not working out, he doesn't swing back to help out the defenders that were a little bit shorthanded against Bulldogs. So, yeah, look, 4 out of 10 because we're being a little bit lenient to him, right? Not his fault.
Yeah, and a lot of the viewers agree, champs. Tark says, I think the coaches failed Frampton this game more than Frampton did himself. Should have swung him back. Exactly. So I give him a 4, but it's not a 4 where it says he had a stinker and he should be dropped. I'm saying it's a 4 because he should have been in the back line. Which
he's been playing good in. He's been playing great there.
Yeah, absolutely. 5, T Mello, Bernard, 4, played out of position, battled hard. Michael says spot on, Tark. Maybe my Bartel pick was too high, 3.5. Then Billy, I'd go 4.5. Fair enough, Ben. I don't mind that. We should have had him on Darcy. Exactly. Bottom line is we needed Frampton on Darcy. And guys, maybe we can do this a little bit later. Maybe. Have you guys watched the Craig McRae post-game press conference? And if so, did he mention the non-decision to swing Billy Frampton into the back line? Because I'm sure if those journalists have any idea or any grasp for the game, they would have asked that question. Why didn't Billy Frampton go into the back line? So if you guys have seen it, let us know. If the majority of you haven't seen it, maybe to finish the show, we might even watch the post-game press conference together.
Yeah, perfect. Sounds good.
Frampton 4, Paul 3, 5, but it was not his fault. Exactly, Zach, spot on. Could not get a game at St Kilda, only there because we have no one else. I think that's regarding Vital. Thanks, Stavros. Played better in the grand final. Frampton's been locking down the best forward all year, and he plays forward. No idea. We got both. Yes, watch McRae. No, we did not. McRae last game should rate the coach's performance. That's a good call, Comanche. Look, Fly doesn't get a lot wrong, Mr. Fly McRae, but this is one of his blemishes. Yeah,
it's a blunder. It's a blunder.
It's a blunder.
It was a selection where it was wrong, and then the ability to not roll the dice when our key backs are getting cooked because of lack of height, not because of the lack of trying. Like Charlie Dean was trying, he was just too small. You have Jeremy Howe playing on a fucking guy over 2 meters. Like the guys had no chance there. You know what I mean? So yeah, unfortunate, but yeah, that would be the rating if we had to have rate Fly. Do we go on to the next one, champs? Who do we got next?
Have you got this one, brother?
I do.
All right, perfect.
Very interesting. Want to just go out and say, champ, 11 disposals, no 0-0, no score involvements. You know, in the game where he got it dropped against the Crows, he at least had 4 score involvements. Against the Eagle, he had 5 score involvements to give us nothing. To give us nothing on the weekend. It's pretty subpar. I believe he's out of the squad this week. I do think Ned Long comes in when you do need a bigger person in there. So I think he gets dropped. If I was to pick anyone and put money on it, and Ned Long to come in, he was meant to get out for 1 week injury. So meaning the week that just passed. So he should be eligible to pick. So I think we could expect him in there. But back on Finn, I think he gets a 3.5 champs.
Finn, very disappointing for...
I could even argue with 3. Could argue with 3.
2.5 need to send him back to attendance. Feel sorry for you, but I'm happy he's in the opportunity, but honestly 3.5. Trade him, unfortunately. And with all this being said, he's not playing as a midfielder, which is he's a pure midfielder, right? Like, but again, we always talk about with the ratings, it's what's the role you've been assigned in the game, and he didn't play well in the role that was assigned. He kicked a few goals against a vulnerable West Coast, and he's done nothing this game. He got caught for holding the ball late in the game, from memory. Then he did recover and did something nice shortly after. You're saying 4.5, did you say?
I said 3.
3
or 3.5.
3.5. 3.5.
All right, James.
3.2. Doesn't matter.
3.2. We'll go 3.2. Doesn't matter, man. He's got playing the B-file next week.
Yeah.
He's gone Galanita there.
Yeah. Such a shame that we can't see him. My only qualm is it's a shame we don't get to see him feature as a full-time midfielder. Can he take Lockie Sullivan's minutes in the midfield? I don't know. But it seems like Finn's been afforded as many opportunities as he possibly could have thus far. And he probably hasn't taken it with both hands, unfortunately.
Yeah. Do you agree with my statement of Ned Long coming in?
Yeah, if he's not injured because of the calf. But if not, Harry Dimatia, Jath had 20 disposals a couple of weeks ago. He was an emergency for the game. I'd love to see. They were both of our draft picks from last year, so would really love to see one of them feature, see what they're about. And they've, like I said, TJ has definitely shown some great form in the VFL. Dimatia sort of working his way back from injury, so we'll see. But what's everyone else saying here? Finn plays to VFL pace because he hasn't been given the opportunities. Do you see Carmichael retiring due to concussions? Team L, I saw that was a TBC, so I'll look into it and maybe I'll talk about it in the preview or the moving the magnets later in the week. which is another show. If you guys don't know, I'd rather see Ed Allen more than McRae. See, the thing is, I don't know if Ed Allen is any better than Finlay McRae right now. So I'm not sure about that one specifically, whether that's a swap that I'd like to see, maybe something else. No stamina.
Yeah, I don't really. Sorry, Champ. I don't really. Yeah, I think Ed Allen was just a little bit off the base when he came in last week. So maybe give someone else a shot.
Yeah. Charlie Dean out, TJ in. Well, yeah, if TJ comes in, then Billy Frampton obviously definitely swings forward. Luke's issue is concussion. I have to look into it a bit more, but I am aware that he is having ongoing concussion issues at the moment. But let's move on. I've got Ash Johnson, brother, right? I've got him down as one of my men. All right.
That'll be interesting.
We'll be gentle on him, okay? We'll work around this, okay? Because we've all had our fair share of input on this man, but 4 disposals, 63%. Was it 60? No, it was. I think it was. Sorry, where are my notes? Let me pop that up. That might help.
Yeah.
He had the least time on ground for any starting player on the weekend. No shots on goal, and probably wasn't in the right position where we needed him. No, I think he took 1 contested mark. His energy, was it great? I don't know if it was great. It was okay. Limited impact, very limited impact, as basically the number 1 forward going into the game for the Pies. What have I got him here? I had him as a 2, but I think a 3. Not that it matters, but I think a 3. Just not good enough. The argument early in the season was AJ, the ball's not coming to him because the team isn't playing well, but the best players in the game will always find a way to find the ball and impact the game in ways that may not necessarily be something they're typically accustomed to. You've just got to find ways to adapt to the environment that you're in. And if you're the number 1 key tool in the game for your side, being Collingwood on the weekend, then you need to find a way to impact. Brody Myercheck, look what he does. Irregardless of how many goals he has, how many touches he has, after every game, I can always say, fuck, that man, Brody Myercheck, I'd go to war with him. And I can't say the same for Ash Johnson. And for that reason, I'm going to keep it at a 2.
Yeah, good man. I was saying 2, champs. Otherwise, 2 out of 10, unfortunately. Like when he's on, but it's not on at all this year. You know what I mean? And you go to wall with him, and you look behind you, and he's fucking 200 meters down the road. Like, mate, he's left you for dead. So, yeah, champs. I back that 2 out of 10.
Yeah, Russell 3 for turning up. Ash, a few nice things, but realistically 3. AJ 2. Felt sorry for him though as he tried, but is way out of form. Yep. 3, 1, 3. Disappointed.
Even his score involvement where he, someone kicked it over the head, he's rushing towards the goal, and it's like he just missed the ball. And yes, he toe poked it out to Oleg, and he ended up kicking the goal. But like it was just clumsy. It was just, you know what I mean? Like it was just clumsy. But yeah.
What are we going to say? Should have been dropped. Well, that probably leads to the next part of the conversation. Ash Johnson probably won't play this week. I think Nathan Kruger comes in. That's probably the obvious replacement and the obvious need coming out of that game against the Dogs. How do we match up against the Melbourne Demons side? Well, I know they've got Tom McDonald who rolled forward late in the game. They don't really have much of a forward presence, so it'll be interesting to see how Fly approaches this game. But we'll save that for the match preview and the moving to Magnets once again. Johnson, sorry, 2, not good enough. 0. Rick says, Dimitri has been playing back pocket. TJ's been really good. A lot of speed and awesome skills and good decision maker. Ed had only 1 good game. Let him get used to speed and was thrown around. We need to get rid of Ash. 3, 0. Russell says, Brody's tough as nails. Melo lacks killer instinct. So, yeah, we get 0 trade about you now. Yeah, it's
probably playing like pretty soon, won't he? Yeah.
Rupert Champs says 2 is generous, lads. Yep. I can agree with that. I don't think Johnson was anywhere near a goal. He was running 200 meters in the opposite direction. He won't play for us. Yeah, all right. Leave the AJ slander because we know he had the game he had is the game he had.
Yeah.
Chaps, have you got any more on your list, by the way, just to clarify?
I believe my last one is Markov.
Okay, cool. All right. Just wanted to make sure. All right. In that case, I've got shooter. Shooter. And boy, did we put him under the microscope leading into the game all week long, saying, yes, he's a pressure player, but he's a forward. He needs to kick goals. Joe Richards is out. Jamie Elliott's out. It's time for Lockie Schultz to lift. He was brought in for a first-round pick in a draft that runs deeper this year. He needs to show us a little bit more than just this pressure, the pressure acts that he does on a weekly basis. He looked like a man on a mission. You saw the look on his face, and that look told me showed me that was a man who cared about his reputation and where he was going in the future. Whereas you couldn't say the same for someone like an Ash Johnson. And that's what I liked about Lockie's game. And he was rewarded. 3 goals too. Could have had 5. I think he had. Sorry, I've got my notes here. Let me pop them up again. 14 disposals and a goal assist. I think he took 8 marks as well. So I think he did everything he could have possibly done besides be a little bit more accurate in front of goal. There were some kickable goals there that he missed. But all in all, I'm going to give Lockie Schultz an 8 on the tit. An 8. I'll give him an 8.
Yeah, nice, chaps. Yep. I had him as an 8 as well. As soon as he popped up, I'm like, definitely the best game we've seen him play this year. We obviously wanted to see him bring it on offense. We did. His defensively as well wasn't too bad either. So yeah, I think an 8 out of 10 is a perfect grade for him. And it's good to see, we put the microscope on him. We were quite harsh leading in to the game, and he definitely delivered for us.
Yeah. Okay, a couple more comments here. Russell said, could have kicked 5. 8 for shooter. T Mello, best game of the year so far. Absolutely. Could have kicked 5. Schultz was okay, but missed key goal. 6.5. Fair enough, Michael. Fair enough. Schultz, 7.5. 3 goals was good to see. Shooter responded very well. Proved his worth. 7-8 easily. Kicked the bag, but could have made it 5 with those set shots. He missed twice in the same spot. 8 for shooter, though. Good to see him with the scoreboard. I think everyone's pretty much on par with it, right? Schultz had off-field issues according to McRae. Yeah, I mean, mate, we don't know what's going on in Shooter's life, but at the same time, I say this as respectfully as possible, people are going through things outside of football all the time, and it's all relative to what's going on in your life. So, I don't know, so I'm not going to comment any further than that, but that's just sort of my 2 cents with that. Comanche 8.5, 7.5, best game all year. Yeah, 8.5, 8, blah blah blah. So we're all in agreement with that. So that's good to see. So, guys, we're going to roll into the last player ratings here. And then after that, stick around. We want to do a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 with the best players for the game. And as voted by the viewers being you guys, we'll keep a tally for that all year. So it'll be like a coach's vote, essentially. So we'll go through that. So stick around to the end. And just before we transition, brother, Dan Cass, do you think Ned Long will play soon? He's been playing VFL anyway. Maybe if he gets over the calf injury niggle he's had. Caleb said he'd like to see him in a team, and so would I. AJ confidence is down. He's better than that. He just needs a good game. I just don't know if we have enough time to warrant allowing Ash Johnson to find the form that he needs. But champs, there you go.
The man himself. Hey, nice with the photo as well. Yeah, so Oleg got the 10 disposals for the game. He had the 1 goal, which was great to see just purely based off his follow-up rate. He kicks the ball in from, the high half forward, kind of edge of the box, square. AJ franks it, runs past the ball, kicks it back, and then was able to get the goal from that. And that was his follow-up work. He was playing out of position, and I did find his leading patterns were a little bit off. But that is to be expected from a guy who, to my knowledge, isn't really too familiar playing in the forward line. Very similar to I guess, a Billy Frampton where he was out of position. But I do love him just because, Chance, we talked about it during the game. Every time, someone did something good around him, whether it was a mark near the goal, he's putting his hands up, he's celebrating. He's a good team player. I do got a little bit of soft spot for him. But he was asked to play in the forward line, out of position. I think if we gave Frampton a 4, he's probably around there, probably like a 4.5 to a 5, purely because he kicked a goal. So I'm happy between a 4.5 and a 5 because he was out of position, was able to kick a goal. So that's why he's above Frampton, which was a 4. So yeah, champs, I'm happy with around a. Let's go a 4.7. We'll split the diff.
5.
5.
5 for these ones. Come on, he loves it.
That's what you need. You need to celebrate the small things, guys. And yeah, I'm fucking all about it. So yeah, we'll go a 5.
Good energy from Mr. Oleg Markov. Cool mouth guard. Let's see some of these comments here. Champs. 6. Should have switched Oleg and Sidey, to be honest. Maybe. What a pick. Yeah, thank you. Kicked the goal. Nice to see. 5. Yep. Ash is all out of chances. Yep, I think he's used all of his chances. He's best off halfback. I don't know. The thing is, if he plays halfback along Quaynor and Noble, that means you're asking Sidey to move to the wing or the forward line. I don't think he moves to the wing at this point with Lipinski, Josh Dacos, Harvey Harrison, etc., etc. I think Markov, again, if he swings back, then Sidey does have to go forward, as Davey Boy points out to here. I think we should have switched Oleg and Sidey. So that's the only way I think Oleg gets back into the back line. I think he should be back line 2. Markov 4, 5, 5. Cool mouth guard. Markov hasn't been the same player since shaving his moustache off. I thought he still got his moustache. He didn't. Yeah, he had his moustache, champs, on the weekend.
Yeah.
It's probably not as hectic as the one that he has in his photo, though. That's probably what he's saying.
Yeah.
The Belarusian, 4.5. Do you think it's one more year, Markov? Markov was a forward at Richmond for a bit. I think we'll probably have to see Markov play out the rest of the season before we know whether he'll get another year onto his contract.
Yeah.
But guys, now it's over to you. The fun part. Let me just quickly change this, guys. Go here, and then
how are we going to determine the votes? We're going to go ask for your who owns the 5 votes, and then we're going to list it out, champs. Or
we'll just get the weight of numbers. We'll get the weight of numbers going. So, guys, like I said, what we're going to do now is we're going to do a leaderboard. We don't know what the name is going to be, whether it's going to be Pies Footy Trophy, or we'll do a post in the community, so in the YouTube community section. So when you guys see that, I want you to vote in the poll what you'd like to see the name be for this trophy. But it's basically going to be award to the player with the most votes at the end of the year. We're starting it late, but better late than never. We go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let's start with number 5. 5 votes being the most. So, guys, who was our best player for the game? Comments.
Yeah. Get it there in the comments.
Yep.
I think it should be pretty
just
unanimous.
Just 5s for now, George.
Just 5, George. Yeah, and we'll roll into some of the other stuff. Well, other votes, I should say.
While they're thinking, champs, I think the obvious one for me is Nick Dacos. Obviously, I'm sure that's what you're going to say, right?
Yeah, I don't think there's much much discussion there, is there, champs?
Yeah, lol, Nick 5, Nick 5, Nick 5, Nick 5, Nick 5, Nick 5.
George Bond's just gone F, yeah, I'm going to put all my votes in.
Yes. Hold the horses, Georgie boy. Hold the horses.
Yeah.
All right, 5. Yeah, Nick Dacos, clear. So we'll put Nick gets maximum votes at 5. Moving on to 4 votes, guys. Now it gets a bit more interesting. Who do we want? Who gets the 4 votes from this game?
Who was our second highest rated player, champs? If you look down at your sheet there, who did we have as number 2 for us in our ratings today?
Well, we had Jeremy Howe had an 8. Darcy Moore had a 7.5. Brazzy had a 7.5. Darcy Cameron had an 8.5. So maybe Cameron Luke says Noble, 5 votes for Noble, but for the Dogs. Davey says 4 for Crisp. Darcy Cameron, 4. Russell. Ben says 4 for Darcy. Rick says 4. Cream says Darcy for 4 votes. Couple more votes, guys. I think it's looking like Darcy Cameron as the best suitor for 4 votes. Maybe 1 or 2 more. Craig says 4 votes for Johnson. Lol.
Get fucked, mate. No.
Jokes. So one more. Come on, give us one more comment, guys. Solidify it. Is it Darcy Cameron for 4? Yeah, Bernard says, he says 3 votes for Cameron. But we're going to settle with 4. I think we're going to settle 4 for DC.
Yeah, unanimous.
All right. Moving on to 3 votes, guys. Who gets the 3 votes for the game for the Pies? Davey says Cripper, as in Jack Crisp. Crisp. Paul says Josh. Cream says Josh. So it's Jack Crisp, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4-2 in Jack Crisp's favour thus far. Does anybody else want to share their thoughts? 5-2, Chris.
Also got another Jack Crisp as well by Michael, who did that earlier, champs. If you want to add that to your tally. Just scrolling up, because I know a couple of guys did jump the gun. George Bond had Dacos as number 4, so maybe that filters into the number 3 vote, considering Cameron got outvoted. I think
it looks like it's going to be Chris, brother.
Yeah,
Jack Crisp clear. I think he's like 7 or 8 in favour.
Yeah, so, he was unreal defensively, wasn't he? Pressure.
Jack Crisp gets the 3. And what about number 2, guys? Who are we giving the 2 votes to? This is where it gets interesting.
So who's out, champs? We've got Nick Dacos done. We've got
Darcy Cameron, Jack
Cameron, and Jack Crisp. Yeah.
So Shooter leads the way right now, 2 votes, 3-0. Josh Dacos 1, Shooter 4-1 in Shooter's favour. What else, guys? What are we saying? Champs, what do you think? Are you saying Shooter?
I would have actually had Josh Dacos. Yeah. Dale Thomas on Friday. He smacked our thirds, didn't he, champ?
Yeah, killed our thirds.
Yeah. Our thirds smashed.
Dacos.
Sorry to any of the boys watching.
Guys, like Moore's rating 7.5 that I gave him.
Did we not have him higher, champ, or did we have 7.5?
We settled on 7. I initially had him as 7.9, but I brought him down to a 7.5.
Yeah.
He had 8 possessions, which is top 10 in his career, 6 marks, 3 intercepts, 3 contested marks, 1 goal assist, which was a really good goal assist. Josh Dacos. Guys, is that Josh Dacos? Let's get a count going here, brother, because this one's close. 1 second. Schultz, 1, 2, 3, 3-1, 3-2, 4-2, 5-2, 5-3, 5-4. Guys, 5-4 in Lockie Schultz's favour. 5-all. And this is without our votes, brother.
Yeah.
So there might be tie break. It's 5-all, guys. Does anyone one more vote?
Someone's going to come in and split the vote, yeah?
Somebody split the difference.
Unless they just both go 1 and 2, champ. Oh, we've got to figure out which one's the order, though, don't we?
Yeah. Got to be Josh Dacos. Davey, have you voted? No, Davey's already voted. Alan, have you voted? Lockie Schultz gets 2. That's the one.
That's it. Alan with the decider.
And I think, guys, that must have to mean Josh Dacos gets the 1 solitary vote.
Yeah.
But no votes for Darcy Moore and Jeremy Howe, which it upsets me a little bit, but I'll live with it. There were some good players, particularly in that first half, that lived up to expectations. Would have liked to see Darcy Moore get 1 vote, but that's okay. You can't have it all, brother, can you?
No, you can't.
Russell says Howe 1 vote. Yeah. Some are voting for 1 vote. Jeremy Howe 1 vote. Josh Dacos 1 vote. Josh 1 vote. I think it's going to be Josh Dacos clear. I mean, if he nearly got 2 votes, and it has to be Josh Dacos. So it's a 5 for Nick Dacos, a 4 for Darcy Cameron, a 3 for Jack Crisp, a 2 for Shooter, and 1 for Josh Dacos. And yeah, so what I'll do is, guys, that's the leaderboard for now. I'll post, so I'll create a graphic for it for next week, so we can see where we're at, and we'll keep track of that till the end of the year. But yeah, just keep an eye out for that community post regarding the name of the medal, because I'm not too sure what it is yet. But we're at an hour and a half. An hour and a half for the stream, brother. Guys, is there anything else you want to talk about? Because I feel like we've covered a lot regarding the players on an individual note. I think we've done well tonight.
Yeah. If you guys want to discuss anything else, we've also got a few shows later this week, champs. You've got the Moving Magnets later on in the week. And then we've also got the pre and post game show, right, on Queen's birthday, which is actually going to be really good for us. A little bit of a rest for the boys. What they're going to have from Friday to next Monday off, which is good.
Days or something.
Pardon?
Yeah, like nearly 10 days.
Yeah, exactly. So good, be refreshed and ready to go. So
yeah. Davey Maynard's comments. What did he say? Who comes in for who, Luke? We'll save that one for the later show. I don't know if we can get into that. Just we need to know who's available as well. So we don't have the updated injury list. So Paul, how was your day? Mine was good. Thank you. Caleb, how was your day, brother?
It was good, champs. Better when I saw you at the gym, huh?
Yeah, that's it. 105 minutes being played. Oh, so Davey's saying that Brazzy in his post-game interview said they're only playing 105 minutes a game, which is suggested playing 4 quarters. And probably not. At least the last 2 weeks, we've dropped the ball in the last quarter. Usually we're able to hold steady and hold up in the back line, but hasn't been the case in the last couple of weeks. It's probably to do with the inexperience in our team, right?
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
Hold on. Russell Champ says a 9.5 for tonight's show. Great job, boys. Thank you, guys. Feedback is important. What is the rating for our performances tonight? Do you want to see this show come back again? Do you like the name The Pie Performers? Give us your feedback, guys, because we need to know if this is stuff you want to see. Then obviously we need to hear from you guys. Arlo says, good work. Enjoyed the show. If Ned Long is available, he gets a game on King's birthday. Hopefully I can play on one. I can see the drop off at the end of games in terms of energy. Yep. Good. So
yeah,
Davey gives us 11.10. Thanks, brother.
Yeah, and the energy scene probably dropped off at the end of the game is probably because we're bringing in so many inexperienced guys under 5 games, 10 games that they're not really used to the AFL speed yet. So, that's probably why we are seeing a little bit of drop off towards the end of the game, right?
Yeah. Michael, good show, lads. Luke says good name. It's pretty good. Great show, boys. Paul, 7 out of 10. Fair. I respect it. Craig says, was good. Pendles is a massive out. It is. And I think Woody, our old mate Woody, Wooden Spoon Data, if you're in the chat, I don't know if you are, but he said we're 30% win-loss rate without Pendles since 2020, I think. So it just goes to show how important his leadership is on the field.
So we've only got a 30% win rate. That's crazy. That's a crazy comment as well.
Since 2020.
Yeah.
10 out of 10. Take off your shirt. Champs, I'm gonna rot the system here. I've got it. No, I'm just kidding. I've got it.
You have the Under Armour on, champs.
I've got Under Armour on. Yeah. He really is our star captain coach. Stour. Better than
he's probably star, right?
Better than Swoop Luke. Look, Craig, I always say Swoop Luke is the man who paved the way for channels like Pies Footy. So I love what he does. But we do appreciate the comment, the compliment, and it means a lot to see the channel get compared to someone like Swoop Luke's. Great show, lads. Surely Cruz gets a crack. Absolutely, cream. Hopefully so.
Has to come in. All right,
Ben
champs.
says,
We
yeah, I
times.
reckon we're done, brother. We done, brother?
Yeah, I think we can wrap it up there, right?
Yeah.
So, what do we got scheduled, champs? You got any videos that you're dropping this week? You want to tell the guys, get them excited about?
Yeah, tomorrow, I think tomorrow will be a match preview for the Demons King's birthday. Either that or I'm doing a best and worst trade regarding Dane Beams, the 2014 trade and 2018 trade. So it'll be like a mini documentary video. So keep your eyes out for that one. I'm really excited to post that one, whether that's tomorrow or Wednesday. I'm not too sure. So it'll either be match preview tomorrow and then Dane Beams trades Wednesday, or vice versa, the other way around. And then we've got the Moving the Magnet show, which, brother, I'm actually not too sure what day I'm going to do it on, because the finalized teams probably won't come out till Sunday evening. So it'll either be, at this point, either Thursday, Friday, or Sunday, which means there's every chance that you will be on the show for any of those days if you're not training, right?
Yeah, only training
Maybe.
Thursday, Saturday. Thursday, Saturday this week. So
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
But there, Monday we'll do the pre-game and post-game, but that's pretty much it, guys.
All
right, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks so much for an hour and a half. We had over 30 odd viewers for the most part of the stream, so we appreciate you guys sticking around.
right, too easy, champs.
Take it easy, guys. Bye-bye.